Good morning, and we are here for Think About Thursday, and we're thinking with our full mind, our brain, and we're learning to be skillful. As you see, there is a background picture of the brain, and I would like you all, if you can, to either take a screenshot or you can, if you'd like, find it on our page right after the program. Today we're going to talk about the brain. And I want you to think about how you want to create this product or this picture. I want you to be mindful that everybody's brain does not think the same. We all think differently. We're all mindful of different things. So I want you to be real creative when it comes to this. I want you to be able to think about the mind and think about your mind and how it works. And that's basically what your picture is going to do. Help you to look at how your brain thinks. Is everybody ready for this? I sure hope so. We're going to work on being mindful. That is what our podcast for Think About Thursday is. We want you to understand that being mindful has to do with your thinking ability. A lot of people may have brain trauma, brain injury, a lot of things that keep them from thinking with what we were born with. So I want you to remember that our brain is marvelous. Oh wow, can we think? So you're going to do something creative with this drawing today. You're going to do something mindful with it. I would like to start by recalling things into you, unto you. And don't worry, because it's very simple, it's very easy, and some might be triggering for some of you. And we're going to get right into it. Let's think about this. Good morning, Trish. Can you hear me okay? Trish, good morning. Are you here? Okay. Being mindful helps you to think. Are you there?
I'm here.
So we're going to talk about being mindful. Here we go. Think about your favorite place in the world. What you have to do is close your eyes as you think about it. I want you to think about you are being there right now. What sights, sounds, smells, and feelings come to mind? Now, that worksheet that I had posted up there, I hope you all have it because it's going to really help you be able to work through what your brain has been doing. I hope you have that copy. If not, it will be posted onto Vibe Talk facing the live page, which is where we are right now on Facebook. We're live. So the first thing is I want you to think about your favorite place in the world. And if you need to, close your eyes and I want you to imagine yourself being there. What are some of the sights that you see? And what are some of the smells? And what is your feeling that comes to your thinking mind? Tell you what I thought about. My favorite place to go to is Disneyland. I hear people. Not only do I hear people, but I hear the noise of joy, joyful noise, and I smell popcorn. What about you, Trish?
My favorite place in the world is an art museum in Colombia, and I felt at peace when I thought about it. And I smelled paint and acrylic crayons and clay. That's what I smell.
So, on your brain worksheet today, you're going to write what you thought of when I ask that question. Everybody understand it? And there is plenty of room to write. In fact, I'm going to use this as one of my instructions for a session because I think this paper can be really big. And it will give us individually something to think about. So I want you to write the feeling, the sound, and I want you to write the smell somewhere on that paper. Good question. Now, list 5 things that you are thankful for at present. List 5 things that you are thankful for at present. That means right now in this moment. You will reflect. And in order to reflect, you must train your brain to think. Reflect on those 5 things you're grateful for today. I'm grateful to be alive. I am glad I get to go to the healing center today to help other people. I'm glad that I woke up and my family is okay. I'm grateful for being able to express my feelings, not in a way that hurts me or others, but be able to express myself without allowing my emotions to overwhelm me. And last but not least, I'm grateful that I'm able to make others laugh. And those of you who are in the audience, you can even draw a shape of yourself. But the paper I have has a brain inside, and you'll discover something today. At least I hope that you will. Now, as you think about those 5 things presently, Trish, did you write them? Or did you think about them? The 5 things?
Yes, I thought about them.
Okay. And how does each of them make your life better? Or how does each of them bring you happiness? Want to tell us?
Yes, I do. Life, that's the first one on my list. Life makes me feel happy because I just find joy in waking up and thanking God for another day and seeing what the day has before me. And the second one is love. Love just makes me happy. I love loving people. I love loving my family and I love loving my animals. So that's me. Um the third one is knowledge. Knowledge makes me happy because I'm not afraid if I know things. So that makes me less anxious, and when I'm at peace, I am happy. And the fourth one is family. My family just makes me happy all together, and just being around them and knowing they support me, it just makes me happy. And the last one is just knowing God. That also makes me happy. So I'm grateful for all those things.
I love that. Thank you so much. If you were on our Think About Thursday today, we will think about what is on our mind at present. And you will see it under our YouTube. You will see the image of the brain, but you will also will see us ask questions differently. Here's another one. The last time that you felt overwhelmed, how could you think about your mindfulness in helping you to perhaps slow down and regain control of the situation? For me, I was overwhelmed about, I was in the car and I started to panic about something. And then I began to pray, and that helped me to remember that I needed to practice calmness. It helped me because when I get panicky or when I'm feeling overwhelmed, it rises my blood pressure. And I have high blood pressure, so I need to calm down. So it helped me to think about not hurting myself when it comes to being so overwhelmed and feeling like I can't control it. I have to mindfully, skillfully learn control. Mindfully and skillfully learn control. If you've written anything in your brain today on that paper, you're getting a first-hand look at how you think. It's one thing to say something, but it's a whole nother thing to do it. Today you're going to get a look at that. You say that's magic. Nope. It's what we need to know that is going on inside of our brain, our body. Here's another one. What is one activity, what is one thing that you do that always makes you lose track of time? And why do you think it makes you lose track of time? How can you bring that same focus during other parts of your life? What is one thing that you do that makes you lose track of time? I'm going to tell you, with me, when I lose track of time, I like to look at a lot of YouTube videos. I love what is court videos, police videos. And by the time I'm done, it's like, wow, look at the time. It's passed by. Now, I want to put a disclaimer on that because it's not like I stay home and look at that. That's after I have done the things that I have to be responsible for: work, taking care of myself, and my job line is to help other people. So, of course, it's after that. How, how can I bring it to my life to make it, or time goes away, or focus? I wouldn't necessarily uh, suggest YouTube, but I enjoy that. Do something enjoyable. That's how I'm going to put that. Uh, I don't suggest that, we spend all our time on YouTube or on social media. But when I do that, time goes by. But I'll tell you, it helps me gain knowledge. I have so much appreciation for Walmart. And let me tell you what I've thought about. You know how a Walmart asks you to see your receipt? Okay. Walmart is one of the stores that has so much theft. They're locking up everything. If you guys have taken a trip to Walmart, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But when I see what has happened in many of Walmart, because those are the videos, the police come in, they're doing their job, the people give them the hardest time, even though they've stolen so much out of the store. I have a respect, because I used to get so mad at all the stuff being locked up. But here's what I do. If it isn't mine, I'm not going to take it. Every day, people are dealing with this kind of stuff. You don't believe me? Go check out the videos. Here's one. Describe a time when you felt really stressed. Now imagine pausing, and as you pause for a moment, take deep breaths. I want you to do that now because we're at present. And you're already stressed for whatever reason. And now you are approaching the situation calmly. If you hadn't have done the breathing or the pausing or the think about, how about things have went differently for you? First, let's talk about it. Trish, what were you stressed about in this moment? Or a time when you were stressed?
Um, a time I was stressed was when I couldn't find my cat, and during that time, what stressed me out was I couldn't find her. I didn't know what happened to her. Um, Now I do. She passed away, but yeah, that's what I was stressed about.
Now, as you were asked to pause and reflect, how might that have been different for you?
I feel like if I would have paused and stayed calm, I would have remembered that, well, the dogs did come into the yard that don't belong to us and they were chasing the cat, so something probably happened to her. It would have made me come to a result or a conclusion before I went ballistic and frantic over looking for her.
And I'm sorry about your cat. Let's talk about this. First, let me ask you, is it causing you guys to think, this exercise? Because here's the work of the Healing Center. The Healing Center is always there to provide you with the ability to think things through. And aren't some of us glad that we thought things through, right? Because sometimes we see things where excuse me, people don't think things through, and the outcome could have been way different had they thought about it. So I hope this is giving you some sense of being able to think. Emotions come into play when we think about things. And I'll be the first to say that I act on emotion. I am very emotional, and sometimes I will go headlong without thinking. with the brain that I have been given, but I rather think with my heart. And that has led me into some really sticky situations. So as we think on our emotions, what emotion are you feeling right now? Chris?
Right now, I'm feeling alert and assertive because I'm trying to think about the question. So that's the emotion I'm feeling right now.
Okay. So now, as you are feeling assertive, I would like you to take a moment to sit with that thought and then ask, how does acknowledging, how does thinking about or being aware of your emotions affect your feeling? So you're being alert. How is it affecting you right now?
It's giving me relief when I'm alert and then I answer the question. It's also giving me relief because I know the answer to that. So I'm glad that I know myself. So that's the effect that it has on me.
I love it. Thank you. She's understanding the assignment. For everything that we do in Vibe Talk, it's always, always for you to get connected to you. And that's exactly what this assignment is, for you to have a look-see in your brain. And how do you do that? You don't need a doctor unless you're suffering from some terrible injury or unless you have some illness that is affecting your brain. Did you all hear me on that? You have the first key to your brain because you know what you think. And did you notice how emotion came into the picture? Now, we get our hands on objects all the time. Now I want you to be able to choose one that's nearby, whether it's a book or a pencil, whatever it may be. And I want you to look at it and study it, examine it for just a moment. Whatever it is, just allowing you to pay close attention to the object. Now you're looking at that object of whatever it is. How does paying a close attention to it help you? How do you see it? I'm looking at the computer screen because it's in front of me, and I have probably two other devices. I see them as powerful tools. I see them in ways in enabling me to gain access to be able to help them be useful tools to my personal and public life. Trish, what about you?
I'm looking at the box that I have my phone on. Um, I see it as something that is stable and also reliable because it's supporting my phone. So that's how I see that as.
Love it. How are you all doing with these questions? You okay, Trish?
Yes, I am.
Let's go on. Think about a time you felt really happy and content. What were you doing? And how can you bring that same sense of happiness and contentment to your present daily life? Think about when you were happy and content, and how can you bring that to your daily at present? And think about a time when I was really happy, and it was a time when there was nobody living in my home, and my son had to come home uh, due to some issues. And of course, as parents, we allow our children to come home because that's going to happen. I'm not one of these parents that says no because you don't know what the situation is, and you love your children, even the adult ones. But I like that space of being able to be in my home and coming. I was happy because my home was exactly the way I left it. I'm not a perfectionist, but I do like clean. And I think when you find your own space, because it's important for everyone to have their space. Everyone in the family, however your dynamics are. But when it's been taken from you, you no longer have that peace or that contentment because you don't have control of the situation. Life throws curves. And all I can tell you right now is now I have to make space. Remember what I said about life throws curves? See, it would have been different if I would have said, you know, my life changed and I just can't find any peace. I can't find any contentment or happiness. What it taught me about myself is I can still have that peace and contentment, or that joy and contentment, or that happiness. Now I have to think a little bit skillfully now, because sometimes we can take things for granted. And that's why I think even in the healing center, it's important for people to have their space. That is where you can find your own space. That is why we say to people, if you've been with us for any length of time when we started in the earlier years here at Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast, please don't speak out to the audience because perhaps they need their own space. Everybody get it? So important. Even if you have a definite change in your life. My life was one of my kids had to come back home. I'm a parent that will allow my child to come back home because he's young and he's got a child, and you just don't leave your people out there in the street. But now I think about, let me be more creative in finding space so that I can bring that contentment back into my life. Why? Because that'll help me grow as a person. Thinking out of the box. Don't just think, I'm here, I like my quiet space. I'm with people all day, 24/7. And when I come home, I like to be in my space. But I've thought of new spaces skillfully. Give it some thought. Yay. Let's see what else we got. Pick one sound that you hear right now. But before you do, I need you to close your eyes. I want you to listen to that sound closely. Now, how did focusing on that sound change your perception of it? Trish?
That's a good question. So the sound that I'm hearing is my siblings playing the video game, and it usually annoys me, but it changed my perception because it's like, okay, I notice that it's there, not that it's bothering me, but I acknowledge that that's what that is. So that's my perception of it
I
now.
love that. I just heard someone walking up the stairs because I live in an apartment. But before that, well, before I closed my eyes, I thought, who is that? And I was wondering if it was my son coming back. Did he forget something? And then I realized, oh, that's my neighbors. My neighbors are very protective. That's what I do like. They're going to watch over me. They're going to let me know when I need to know something. Uh, so I appreciate that. So how did you all do? We're going to stop there. How did you all do? Did you look on your paper? And by the way, you can make that paper very creative. You can see how your brain has been working. I chose to list what was going on in my brain activity. You know, uh, if you didn't get a chance to work on it during this time, those are one of the things that we will have in the healing center. We can do it together. Um, but please keep our logo on it, even for those who are instructing education, and if you need some assistance, I will definitely talk to you about it. Did you think mindfully, Trish? Or was it difficult for you?
It wasn't difficult for me. Well, there is one thing I couldn't decide on, which is my favorite place, but I sat and actually thought about it, and yeah, that was my favorite place, which was the art museum. And
Yeah.
I was thinking about, can a favorite place be something you've been to one time?
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, you know what? Yeah, it can. So I picked that because that also made me very, very happy. Like, I want to go there again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember that experience. So yeah.
No judgment. I want you all to be aware of one thing, to think mindfully. You know, a lot of people may feel afraid to approach what's going on inside of their minds. And there are many people who do need to have medication to control their thoughts. We're not going to get into the medical part of that because I am not a doctor. I am a professional, certified life coach, and I take my job very seriously. So, for those of you who are on medication because you know, hey, that one pill helps you to get your thinking on track, to help you stay focused, please, please know that you haven't lost control, that this exercise is simply for you to think about how you feel. We don't discourage you not to take medication. This is not what we're doing this exercise for. We're doing this exercise so that you understand how to look at yourself in your brain. I work with a lot of people. Trish and I have talked with a lot of people, people that deal with depression, people that are recovering from this, that, and the other. We never tell them, oh, you can do it, be independent. What we do tell them is that they're worth it. And when you look at the exercise, if you care to even think about using that exercise, I think it's a great tool. I'm going to print it because it's going to be one of the things that I want to show people, that looking at yourself and being able to navigate skillfully the way you think, the way your brain process goes without medical information, because I don't step over there in that territory. All I can tell you is that when you look at your brain and think, wow, you know, I've thought this, or wow, I have discovered something about me, or wow, I really need to think more than act. Can I just say that when we skillfully and mindfully think about something, it could save a life, literally. You know, people, we talked about Walmart and people stealing. Of course, they don't only steal in Walmart, they steal everywhere. But if people would just think for a moment, just imagine what life would be for them. There are people who are sitting in prison right now that may think differently because of their now surroundings. Maybe they don't wish to be remorse. But I can tell you something about the brain. The brain replays things over and over in our minds, whether it is good, challenging, or ugly. We can control that. And might I add, some people will have to have medication to be able to thought, to think progressively. Prescribed medication. And there's nothing wrong with it. So we want to make very clear of what we're doing here today. It was just for you to be able to think about how you think. We ask you a series of questions that only you can think of. Trisha's thoughts were about the art gallery. My first thought was Disneyland. First time I ever went, I wanted to go again and again. Not like the man who goes every day. Let's just put that there. There is really a man that goes every day because he lives next door. I don't want to go that many times, but that's my happy place. So I want you guys to look at how our brains are different. Some people are very, very negative in their process. Maybe you're going to do that exercise and find that you are negative. Maybe you're going to do that exercise and think, I am a judgmental person, or I am a emotional person and I need to do this. You see how the brain works, guys? Such a marvelous tool. Let's mindfully and skillfully use it to our best ability. It also helped us to appreciate that we could change. We're able to view things differently. How many of us have done that in our lifetime? We thought one way about something, and as we get more knowledge, we feel a different sense. Remember the thing about how we felt, how our emotions were, and then after we view the object, how we think about it and how we feel about it? No one ever looks at a pencil and says, that's just a pencil. We automatically know what that pencil is used for. When I looked at the computer and the devices that were before me, I realized the power of them, and I could cognitively connect the power to doing something useful and skillful, right? That is what we help you with in the healing, to think positively, to think more mindfully of your present life. We're not people that want to tell you that everything is going to be wonderful. You're going to challenge yourself every day. That is, if you will. Excuse me. We're going to be right back with Trisha's Treasures. Let's take a break. You're with Vibe Talk, Facing the Light podcast. I'm your host, Nisi, and my co-host is Trish. On this Think About Thursday, we're going to be right back. Facing the Lion podcast. are Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast, streaming everywhere on iHeartRadio and Spotify. Go check us out. Trish?
This think about Thursday just made me think about how yesterday I was making music. That's what I was doing yesterday. And as I was laying down making music, I had I was very indecisive, and I was starting to stress out because I was like, I have the vision. Like, I see it, I hear it, but it's not turning out the way that I want it to. And so I decided I literally went, I literally made two different beats for the same music, and it's like, it wasn't going together. It wasn't doing it. And so I decided to step back. I was like, what is wrong with this? Let me think about it. And so I listened to every instrument. First instrument, it was a piano. And I was like, okay, I like that. But how can I make the melody sound better? How can I make it sound just simple, not too much? We got the fullness from the bass, but we don't need all that from the piano. And so I did that, and I went to the guitar. I was like, okay, I don't want a guitar anymore. I want something that sounds bubbly, happy. And so I changed it to a synth wave. Anyone that doesn't know what a synth wave is, a synth wave is like an electric keyboard, but it has a nice atmospheric sound. You hear it a lot in like 80s music, basically. So that's what a synth wave is. And um I use that for the melody, and I went to the bass, and I was like, I don't like how that sounds. And so I changed it. And I went through all the music and I changed it around, and I was like, you know what? Okay, that sounds great, but I want something different in there, something that sounds so unique. Because if you listen to my music, I always add something to the beat where, okay, it's an R&B beat, but I never heard this in an R&B beat before. Like, I always try to add something different, a different sound to every genre when I make an instrumental. And so as I was thinking about it, and fast forward the podcast for today, I thought about what made me happiest. Um, and it was making that yesterday, making that beat. Because when it finished, I was so excited. Like, I was so happy. I was like, you know what? Okay, like, I see me. That's what I said. I was like, I see me. Like, okay, girl. But I was hyping myself up, and I was like, you know what? I usually don't do that because it's like, should I hype myself up like that or whatever? But I did it yesterday, and because I was excited, I was very proud of myself that I switched, because it sounds very different from what I was thinking. So I switched it up, and it turned out to be a good beat. It turned out to be something that I was very proud of. And that's how the mind works. Like, our mind, it's thinking of one thing, and then we go to the situation, and then we replay it in our minds a lot, and we're like, what can I do differently? How
Mm-hmm.
can I change this up? How can I switch that up? I don't think that's supposed to go over there. I don't think that I'm supposed to be this stressed out. I don't think I'm supposed to be depressed for this long. What can I do different to get out of it? What makes me happy? What brings me joy? And so that's what music made me feel. It made me happy. And so how can I use that um in my everyday life? I feel like I can use how I am able to switch things around and make it to where it works for me. I can use that in my everyday life. I can use that in making a schedule for my chores or doing my schoolwork. I can use that for when I'm going through something. And you know how the teachers teach us context clues and process elimination? We can use those things every day in our lives by seeing what we can do and thinking about how we want to make an outcome of our challenges into a good solution, into a positive outcome. But sometimes it doesn't turn out the way we want it. Sometimes we have to switch it around. Sometimes we have to understand that, you know what? It worked last time, but this time things are a little harder. So we have to do things a little different. We have to step back and reflect. So I hope you guys do this assignment because I'm going to do it. I didn't do it while I'm sitting here because I don't have anything with me right now,
Mhm.
but I'm going to do it. And I hope you guys find and reflect and connect your thoughts and emotions.
That was Trisha's Treasures. Trisha's Treasures can be found on our YouTube page, and you can just hashtag it, and you'll find out all about her. She is my amazing co-host. She spoke about music is because she's experienced in music. Trisha's responsible for all of our sounds. Thank you so much. Song for the day is Think About Thursday. And podcast subject topic was Let's Be Mindful. I hope this helps you. Challenge yourself today and every day to be mindful, to get more mindful, and to get connected to your brain. After all, a mind is a terrible thing to have waste. Have a good day, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time right here on Facing the Lion podcast, all about mental and emotional feeling and thoughts. Because I don't want you just to make a resolution. I want you to think about. I was really about to lose it, then I got the vibe with it. I really took the time with it. I really love the ride with it. Real, really got the vibe with it. I took the time with it.